So everyone is talking about the one big beautiful bill, justifiably so. But I want to call your attention to a critical window that is closing. Back in January, I made a video talking about the 10 stages of genocide, and at that point, I identified that we were at stage 7, preparation. However, it is clear that we are now at stage 8, persecution, and there are signs that we are moving into stage 9, extermination. I highlight this now because stage 8 is not a safe plateau. It is a tipping point. Once a country enters stage 8, the infrastructure, mindset, and legal cover for mass atrocities is in place. Once a genocide reaches stage 9, history tells us that it is virtually unheard of for it to be brought to an end with anything other than overwhelming military intervention. Why? Because at this stage, the unaliving machinery is already in motion. Because there are no more moderates in power at this point. Because victims are already fully dehumanized by the larger population. So what is it that tells me that we are moving out of stage 8 and into stage 9? It is the following. State violence is being normalized or even celebrated. Think about the public reaction to the ICE kidnappings and disappearances. Political violence has been met with silence or even justification. Think about the arrests of Democratic leaders and the assassination of a Democratic politician. There are public calls for the revocation of legal status based on ideology or religion. Forced deportations are occurring in mass, in some cases to foreign countries with which the deported have no connection, and in some cases to foreign concentration camps from which deportees will never be released. Due process is no longer available for everyone, regardless of what the Constitution says. And we are in the process of setting up a massive onshore concentration camp. This is all what tells me that we are beginning to move into stage 9. So how do nations put a stop to all of this before they reach stage 9 where military intervention is required? Massive organized internal resistance and ideally external deterrence as well. Unfortunately, in our case, I think there's going to be very little in the way of external deterrence aside from boycotts of American products. We need mass resistance and civil disobedience on a scale that has never before been seen in this country. Numbers much, much larger than what we saw during the No Kings protest in June. We need labor strikes. We need judicious employment of our purchasing power. We need whistleblowers and journalists who can break through the propaganda. And we need to be prepared to support those whistleblowers and journalists. At this stage, any shifts in political power will also work to our benefit. There are 2 major protests scheduled in July. There is one on the 4th, and I believe there is one as well at mid-month. Anyone who is not at risk by virtue of belonging to a marginalized community needs to be out and participating in these protests. The window of opportunity to resolve all of this without violence is closing. That is what history tells us, because again, it is virtually entirely unheard of for a genocide to be stopped at stage 9 with anything but overwhelming military intervention. We cannot allow progression to that stage. The time to act is now.